Uganda, with up to 1.1 million refugees settled in urban centers and 28 refugee settlements across the country, has one of the world's largest refugee populations. And while FinScope data points to an increase in financial inclusion for adult Ugandans, driven primarily by mobile money services, the figures are much lower in refugee settlement communities. According to FinScope 2018, overall financial inclusion stood at 78% for adult men and 77% for adult females in Uganda. In contrast, only 13% of refugees recently surveyed in Bidibidi refugee settlement could access formal credit, with most of them depending on informal groups to meet their financial needs. A recent UNHCR World Vision study in northern Uganda painted a stark picture, with refugee financial inclusion registered at 1%. Learnings from administering humanitarian aid indicate that direct cash assistance to displaced persons is more effective than in-kind donations, and a shift towards efficient cash transfer programs ensure that humanitarian agencies can strengthen the resilience of vulnerable, displaced groups living in settlements. Additionally, the challenges faced by refugees and their host communities provide an opportunity for financial service providers to tap into existing practices such as village saving and loan associations, generating demand-side data that profiles refugees accurately, innovate based on their needs, and provide financial education to drive up demand for services. The Financial Inclusion for Refugees FI4R project, co-funded by Financial Sector Deepening Uganda and Financial Sector Deepening Africa in collaboration with BFA Global, includes a groundbreaking study that will track the financial lives of refugees in Uganda for 12 months. Findings will inform the development of financial products and services offered to refugees and their host communities by Rural Finance Initiative, VISIONFUND Uganda and Equity Bank Uganda Limited, as well as other market actors. These market-led interventions are expected to enable better integration, strengthen the resilience of households by stimulating economic activity, and increase take-home incomes.
At FSD, we have specific targets that we look at, and we specifically look at the vulnerable in community, and specifically for refugees, they are forcibly displaced. And also the other interest is because we know Uganda has a progressive policy on refugees. So we believe that we should be able to support them to be able to have a leverage and engage in activities that generate income.
As part of the project, Rural Finance Initiative will provide refugees with credit and savings products. The savings product will tap into existing VSLAs using LedgerLinks, an app developed by Grameen Foundation that mirrors and digitizes the rituals typical to VSLAs, including record keeping, and fits seamlessly into their existing processes. This will enable the groups to save excess money securely and build their credit scores to open up access to credit based on accurate profiling data. RUFI will also provide loans to these VSLAs and youth-led enterprises operating in the settlements.
Yeah, this project actually is what we call SMILE for Refugees, where SMILE stands for Savings Mobilization Initiatives and Lending Efforts. And that's basically what's unique with our project, because it's trying to mobilize savings and at the same time also improve on the lending efforts. We are not really experts of saving, but because of agents and then partnership, we believe that we can now link our experience in lending to also mobilize savings for these people.
VISIONFUND Uganda is piloting a unique wholesale credit model for savings groups in the West Nile region. The repayment and share-out data of existing and stable NGO-supported groups will be used to determine their eligibility for additional loan capital, enabling them to invest in productive activities.
Reaching out to the underserved communities in the West Nile is very expensive, and we have been intentional in partnering with the donor partners are partnering with World Vision Uganda to reach out to the underserved communities in the West Nile. And one of the key things that has enabled us to drive the financial inclusion in the West Nile is leveraging digitization to be able to reduce on the cost to serve and as well improve the customer experience for the refugees in West Nile. And we believe if we do expand our presence in the West Nile, considering the fact that we are planning to open up branches in Yumbe, Arua and Adjumani, and then continuing to strengthen the integration with World Vision, we should be able to realize the dream of impacting 700,000 children in 2030.
There is need to ensure that the infrastructure driving cash transfers is transparent, eases operational processes, including verification and confirmation of receipt, protects vulnerable groups, and provides relevant value propositions to the entire settlement community. Equity Bank is leveraging its regional experience working with humanitarian agencies to provide fully fledged bank accounts where displaced persons can access their humanitarian aid payments. To improve reach, the bank will extend its existing agent banking network in refugee settlements. The network will also be used to provide formal credit services to businesses operating in these settlements to stimulate economic activity.
Our respect for customers and duty for customers, our focus on transforming lives and livelihoods, our focus on economic and social empowerment is what puts us in a refugee space. With technology, you can do very many things. Our unique approach is to ensure, one, we can enroll the refugees, give them accounts, or give them cards which are evidence of their holding an account. And these cards are international accepted cards. Could be MasterCard, could be Visa. Also, we use our infrastructure to enhance transparency because we biometrically register the refugees. That helps with very many things about accountability, partner management, and stakeholder management, and so on. So we use that as well to help us. Ultimately, we believe by being able to include them into financial services, that will be part of the roadmap out of the current situations. Our end game is improved communities, improved social lives, transformed economic journeys, and I would say a model which can be used to scale and address this refugee problem across the globe, but invented and tested and proven in the setting of Africa.
The Financial Inclusion for Refugees project, supported by FSD Uganda and FSD Africa in collaboration with BFA Global, will enable refugees and their host communities to experience first-hand innovative financial services designed for individuals for their informal groups. They will be able to access credit for their businesses and receive financial management training.
In terms of what we want to achieve, is we, as a market facilitator, we believe in providing a demonstration effect to the market players and create a systemic change such that the players can be able to appreciate and say that it makes sense in serving this sector. So being able to demonstrate that with those given players and the specific settlement areas that we're working in provides a demonstration effect to the market players, and therefore we will see more and more players getting involved in this area. The other issue is, of course, to be able to see the refugees themselves have a better livelihood, and the other thing is also develop the ecosystem of the providers, like for the banks that we're working with, like Equity, they've put in a development of agent banking. Not only does it provide employment, but it creates an infrastructure that can be used for any other services in those communities.
The project is expected to drive up demand for formal financial services by providing knowledge to the communities and designing relevant products for them, while increasing supply of financial services from both traditional and non-traditional FSPs in Uganda. This will create sustainable, market-led changes that will serve refugees and their host communities for the long term.